Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us here at our regular council meeting today, Tuesday, July 7th, 2026 at 4:30. Council chambers, I'd like to remind everyone that we're live streaming this on our YouTube channel, so keep that in mind as we road here, our YouTube channel, so keep that in mind as we road here, our YouTube channel, so keep that in mind as we road here. Technical difficulties here. Keep that in mind as we road here. Technical difficulties here. What's the matter? Keep that in mind as we road here. Technical difficulties here. What's the matter? Keep that in mind as we road here. Technical difficulties here. What's the matter? Keep that in mind as we road here. Technical difficulties here. What's the matter? Keep that in mind as we road here. Technical difficulties here. What's the matter? Try it again. What's the matter? Try it again. Oh, there it goes. Try it again. Oh, there it goes. Try it again. 2, 3, 4. I think that's got it, eh? Okay. All right. So we'll go with our opening comments first. Anybody want to start, or should I start with our Canada Day? All right. Just was honored to celebrate our Canada Day as our first year as the mayor. So it was a great way to kick off our summer and, get the whole community joined up together for a great day. Everybody was there. Everybody was hanging out. We even had a good time down at the eating cake, chasing the float with the candy buckets. So yeah, no, it was a good time. We also we had some video from our. Is it from our Canada Day or is? No, okay. We have some video from our trip into the Calgary Stampede, which we took. We took the parade, our float into the Calgary Stampede, and we had a. It was an amazing thing. That was really something to see it from the other side, and the amount of people that are there were just astonishing, really. So, yeah, if you got a video, cue it up and roll tape there.
Ambassador for the Calgary Stampede. So great to see the Queen's alumni spanning 8 decades here today.
All right, let's say hello to the Dino Drifter and the town of Drumheller, the only parade float named by local grade 6 students through a mock referendum. Very good, teacher.
I love that. Okay, we got the Dino Drifter as a result of that referendum. The town of Drumheller, many will know, is home to the world-famous Royal Tyrrell Museum and Canada's Badlands. They're bringing their brilliant dinosaur-themed float to Calgary to celebrate Drumheller's world-renowned prehistoric heritage.
And was first introduced in 2025 by the mayor and council. The Dino Drifter is exactly what its name promises: part adventure, part education, and 100% unforgettable.
Right on. That was that morning show there. That was Global, that Carolyn, they're talking about it. So I thought we had some pretty good exposure there, and that's national exposure right there. So it was a good use of a good use of our float. And our float the month before, or the week before, I think it was actually, won first place in Hussar for their summer days celebration over there. So the float is making its way around and it's being appreciated. So that's good. Who's next? Mike? Councillor Hanson?
Well, Drumheller's busy season would not have the successful start that it's had without the hard work from or event organizers and our public works crew. They've had to work with uncooperative weather, swarms of bugs, and they managed to keep things moving. Well done, team. Thank you for the work you put into our community. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure. That's a valued asset right there. All right, Councillor Kalaffa.
Thanks. I just wanted to take note on June 18th, the council and administration staff was joined by the previous council, the Minister of Environment, Grant Hunter, just to mark the completion of the berm construction. The flood mitigation project's been an ongoing thing in the community, and it was nice to recognize that moment. We're grateful for everybody behind the event, behind the project, and of course the patience of the community as we went forward in a critical but difficult project. Thanks.
Yeah, it was good to put that one to bed. All right, Councillor McNeil.
Thank you. Well, last Friday, I enjoyed the fabulous experience of walking with the town of Drumheller float in the Calgary Stampede Parade. And it is surprising that I actually still have a voice after that. I was there along with Mayor Miglitz and Councillor Kalaffa. And it was such a joyful experience walking the parade route and seeing all of the happy, smiling faces. Many in the crowd, well, they just loved the dinosaurs, especially the kids. And the Dino Drifter, it had many shout outs that people said they loved Drumheller. And our float did receive great television coverage and also made it into the highlight reel. At the end of the day, I was asked this question. I walked 20,905 steps in my cowboy boots, and that's equal to about 15 kilometers. It was great just to see so many folks from Drumheller and area who are longtime Stampede volunteers. So I commend them for their work. And I also want to give a shout out and a thank you to Mr. Zier for driving our float and ensuring it was safely parked at the staging area the night before. It certainly was a very early start for us. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, that was an early start to that thing for sure. And it's amazing that there were like thousands upon thousands of people, and then all of a sudden, boom, there'd be somebody in the crowd. It was really kind of cool how that went. Yep. Okay. And so now we got Councillor Zaritsky.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Just a further to the parade, a lot of people in Drumheller don't realize that the Canada Day Parade is basically run and organized by just a group, a committee, a bunch of people. And so I'd just like to thank all the people that came forward and helped organize the parade. And we're always looking for extra volunteers as well. So I was asked to comment on, what was the highlight of the parade, and there were so many really good floats, and the band is always a highlight, and the RCMP and the fire trucks and all the floats and all the companies is really good. But if you talk to a 4-year-old, their highlight for the parade is obviously the E360 garbage truck. I mean, they are absolutely thrilled to see a garbage truck. There are lots of little kids in this community that get up very early garbage morning to make sure that they see that garbage truck go by. So thanks to everyone who helped with the parade, and thanks to everyone who participated.
Good point there. The kids love to see the heavy equipment for sure. Councillor Miller.
Yes, thank you. In addition to the parade on Canada Day, we also had so many other great activities. There was the farmers market, there was the fountain and the spray park were going, of course. There were about 8 bouncy castles at the BCF, and some of them had 3 or 4 parts to them. I'd never actually seen any like that before. And all the entertainment, it made for a really exceptional experience. And I just think Drumheller does Canada Day better than anywhere else does. And I've been to quite a few Canada Days in quite a few different places. So thanks again to everyone who volunteered their time to help out, and I hope that our residents and our visitors had a great day.
Right on, thanks for that. That was for sure, it makes it a great event with the buy-in, all the local buy-in on it. All right, so we will get on to our normal business here. So, the adoption of our agenda. Do we have any additions to the agenda? No, no additions. All right. Can I get the adoption then? Councillor Claughton.
I'll move that council adopts the agenda for the July 7th, 2026 regular council meeting as presented.
Thank you. Second that, Councillor Miller. Thank you. All in favor? Okay, motion carried. Is Tom on there too? Yep, okay. I saw it. Yeah. Yeah, this is a little different experience for me here. Looking for Tom. You're so little now. So yeah, it's kind of it's like an inch square over here. But anyways, I will continue to watch for your hand up. I see your thing there. All right, so can I get someone to give me a motion for adopting the minutes for 4.1 minutes from June 16th regular council meeting? Councillor McNeil.
Yes, I move that council adopts the minutes from the June 16th, 2026 meeting minutes as presented.
Okay, thank you for that. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Miller, all in favor? Okay. Yeah, I see it over there. Okay. All right. So now that brings us up to 5 delegations. Our 5.1. Are we going to get someone leading them in? No. Okay. Mr. Iverson, welcome.
Thank you, and I appreciate the time to speak to council here. So I'm here today just to speak about the fire alarm bylaw and a couple fines that I received. So just a little background on it. I have a rental property that I rent, and this is where the false fire alarms happen through the TELUS system. I've read the bylaw and I understand and certainly can appreciate that the system itself or a person's ability to pay or any of those sort of factors would not determine whether somebody should receive a fine or not. The reason why I'm presenting this to council is I did not receive notice of the fire alarms, the false fire alarms. There were 3 in total. The first fire alarm happened on March 16th, the second on April 17th, and the third on May 11th. Fines weren't issued until May 25th for the second and third fire alarms, and I received those in the mail June 4th. So as the landlord, I did not receive any sort of notice or understanding that any alarms had happened. It was 12 weeks from the first alarm, 7 weeks from the second, and 3 weeks from the third alarm before I had any notice of any false alarms happening. The spirit, I'm sure, of the bylaw is to reduce the number of false fire alarms. Me as the landlord, once I got the fines in the mail, I took immediate steps to rectify the situation. The tenant has canceled their contract with TELUS, so there won't be any further fire alarms. So I believe the spirit of the bylaw is to reduce the false fire alarms that are happening, and I can appreciate and I certainly support that. However, as the property owner and the landlord and the one who's ultimately responsible for the fines, I believe I should have been notified in a reasonable amount of time to take steps to stop the false fire alarms from happening. 12 weeks, 7 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't think is a reasonable time frame to be able to take those steps to mitigate this and to stop them from happening. I'm not sure what other bylaw infringements are when written notice happens or warnings or actual fines, but I think it's rather quickly. I'd also like to point out that as a landlord, when it comes to utility bills, um, if my tenant falls in arrears, I get a notice within a week of that. And then I can take action to make sure that, you know, it's paid or the tenant pays it or whatever. So that's mainly like why I'd like to present today, and I'm asking for, you know, one or both fines to be waived is mainly the administration of it. You know, 3 weeks or 3 months from the first incident before I was notified, I don't think is a reasonable amount of time. So yeah, that's all I have on that. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that. We got any questions here? Tom's not here. Yeah, that, the fire bylaw. So what you're saying is that it was too long between, from time when the fire alarm was till when you were notified? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, so I, I had no time between a warning or a second alarm where a fine was issued. Fines were issued after the third one for both the second and the third at the same time. So I had no notice on any of them until I got the invoices in the mail for $250 and $500. And it had been 3 months since the first uh, fire alarm.
Councillor Claflin.
I'm just curious, from administration, after say, you know, the first March 16th one where, there is just a warning, is there an actual document given to either the tenant or anything at that point, or is it just kind of, now you know? Like, was the tenant served with anything at that point, or?
Through the chair, Trent Kier, Manager of Municipal Enforcement, currently sitting in for Director Peters while he's on holidays. I recognize that the fire chief is with us here tonight, and he is certainly the most qualified to speak to procedures with the fire bylaw, so I would recommend he come up and speak to those questions.
Thank you, Council, Mr. Iverson. I'm Darian Rosario. I'm the fire chief for the town of Drumheller. And to answer your question, Councillor Kalafa, yes, we do. We have a handout that we do give out to any resident or occupant of a building when a fire alarm does go off. It does lay out the fire alarm procedures and what will happen and the consequences for multiple fire alarms. It is in that document. And that was handed out to the occupant, I believe, the first time in 2025 and the second time here in 2026.
So if that's the case, does not only the occupant, what about the landlord? Does the landlord notified at the same time if it's a rental?
I have no way of knowing if it's a rental or not at the time. I hand the document to the occupant, and hopefully the occupant takes corrective action at that point.
Just for clarification, so the March 16th was 2025 and the other two were the following year, is that?
No, my apologies if I didn't make myself clear. In December 30th of 2025, that was the first time we attended the property for a false alarm.
Okay.
And then, as for the clarity of council and the gallery, when we go through January 1st, the clock resets and we reset the alarm count at that point. So the first alarm for this year was at March 16th at that particular property.
Thank you.
Councillor McNeil.
Yeah, I just want to confirm then that the notice for the second alarm, false alarm, and the third false alarm, they came together in one package. You received them 12 weeks apart?
So I received the invoice or fine from Town of Drumheller on, on June 4th, for both the second and third. And that would have been approximately 7 weeks from the second, false alarm, which was April 17th, and approximately 3 weeks from the third, which was May 11th.
Thank you.
Councillor Hanson.
Just for my clarification, the tenant was the one that had the alarm through TELUS, not you?
Yes, that's correct.
Councillor Zarisky.
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering if it was the tenant that caused the false alarm, then why don't you pass that bill over to the tenant to pay?
Well, I will attempt it. She's not in the best financial situation, so it would be difficult, and I don't want to make things too burdensome on her. You know, she receives AISH as a single mother, so um, it certainly is something I could pursue, but I'm here seeing if there's another alternative.
Yeah, this Councillor Miller, go ahead.
Thank you. Through the chair, Mr. Rosario, I might have missed it, but did you say which date the tenant received the warning for the March 16th fire?
So the handout was given to them on the first event, and that was in December of 2025. I believe there was also a handout provided at the first event for 2026 on March 16th. After that, there was verbal discussions with the tenant.
Thank you.
Similar to our the seniors foundation that we have, you know, it's virtually the same situation as our seniors there. All right. Anything else? Anybody got anything else? Anything else to question on here? No. All right. Can I get a motion then? No motion. Councillor Cloffa.
I'll move the council accepts the presentation by Brad Iverson as information and then direct administration to bring further information to a future meeting for council consideration.
All right. Councillor Miller, second it. All in favor? Okay. All right. We're all good there. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for stepping up, our Chief Rosario. All right, we got another delegation. Mr. Zier, you gonna introduce him?
Good afternoon, Council. It's my pleasure to present the representatives from Midland Community Hall Association. They will be providing a report to Council today on the recently completed Midland Outdoor Rink project, as well as a support request. So just pursuant to the Section 29 of the Council Procedural Bylaw, any individual, group, or organization wishing to appear before Council or the Committee of the Whole may do so by appointment to appear as a delegation. So just looking at following the presentation today, a recommendation from administration here is that council accepts the presentation from the Midlandville Communities Hall Association as information and further directs administration to provide further information to a future meeting of council for consideration. And with that, I welcome the representatives from Midlandville Communities Association to the table.
All right, thanks for that. And welcome.
That's okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to speak today on behalf of the Midland Vale Community Hall Association in regards to the now completed outdoor rink project and accessible outdoor washroom facilities. I would first like to sincerely thank the town for their support that it has already shown throughout this project. The cooperation between town, our volunteers, and community supporters has helped turn an idea into a valuable public space that will serve residents and visitors alike for many years to come. This project was driven by a simple goal: creating an inclusive, accessible, and welcoming recreational space for our community and surrounding communities alike. The outdoor rink provides an important gathering place for families, youth, residents of all ages, while the addition of the accessible outdoor washrooms ensures that the facility can be comfortably used year-round. For small communities, spaces like this are much more than just recreation. They help strengthen our community through connections, encourage healthy activity, and create opportunities for people to come together. And we are very proud of what has been accomplished through the volunteer effort, fundraising, partnerships, and community support. We also want to acknowledge and thank the town for offering assistance with regular cleaning and washroom upkeep. This commitment is greatly appreciated and demonstrates a shared understanding that maintaining public amenities is a community effort. Reliable maintenance is essential for keeping the facility safe, clean, welcoming, and sustainable for the long term. As we move forward, the Midland Community Hall Association would like to propose continuing this positive working relationship through a long-term partnership based on collaboration, communication, and shared responsibility. Our intention is not to simply complete this project and walk away. We want to build an ongoing relationship with the town where we can continue to work together proactively, addressing concerns early, share information openly, and plan for the future needs of the facility and for the community. We believe open communication is key to making partnerships successful. By maintaining regular dialogue between the association and the town, we can ensure expectations are clear, maintenance needs are addressed efficiently, and future opportunities for improvement and/or programming can be explored together. We also recognize that successful community facilities require cooperation and flexibility from everyone involved. The hall remains committed to contributing volunteer time, organizational support, and community engagement to help ensure the long-term success of the ODR and the washroom facilities. Looking ahead, we see this project as a positive example of what can be accomplished when community organizations and municipalities work together for a shared goal. We hope this partnership can continue to grow and to serve as a model for future collaborations that benefit our entire community. Ultimately, we share a similar objective: provide accessible, safe, and well-maintained recreational facilities that improve the quality of life for our residents and our visitors alike. On behalf of the Midland Hall Association, thank you again for your support, your cooperation, and your willingness to continue to work with us. We are proud of what this project has become, and we're excited about what we can continue to accomplish together for our community. Thank you so much for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, as will my co-chair.
I'm just here for
Moral
support. I'm just here for moral support, so.
Okay, moral. Any questions for him? It's a great facility. Was there, you guys done a great job. You thought of a lot of really good things over there, and I see a lot of good things happening for the future of that thing. Anybody else? Tom? Councillor Zaritsky?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I guess I just wanted to add congratulations on your foresight of making it basically like a four-season facility. I know, unfortunately, with the winters that we've been having the last few years, we tried to work on the Newcastle outdoor rink, and no sooner do you get the snow off and you get it flooded that you get a Chinook through and everything melts, and then you get more snow and then you flood it, and then it just, the number of days that you have where it's actually usable as an outdoor rink seem to be way less than what they used to be back in the good old days of Drumheller winters. So I just congratulate you on looking at, all of the events and facilities and sports and activities that you can have, like in the summer and the fall and the spring in that facility with the basketball and the floor hockey and the pickleball and whatever else you're going to be doing there. That's definitely the way to go.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, and even with all the rain that we've had, I wish Becky was here to share some pictures. Her grandsons were out playing in 2 inches of water playing basketball last week, so it's getting used every single day. So thank you.
Councillor McNeil.
Yes, I did notice. I was walking by there the other day and there were people out playing basketball. So I just thought, what a good thing. It's great to see that. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your presentation and the pictures. It's just great to see all of that construction and how it all came together. And so congratulations to the entire community association. And I really appreciate your foresight as well in thinking about, developing a long-term agreement and having the communication with the town. It's so important. So appreciate that very much.
Anyone else? Check for Tom. Yeah, no, it's Councillor Kalafa.
Yeah, thank you. Again, I echo everything that's been said. Just going forward now with continuing to operate the facility, what are some of the challenges that you do foresee?
With any big project like this, our definitely there's like the financial aspects of keeping everything maintained. The town taking on the cleaning of the washrooms is a huge burden off of our volunteers. They're still there checking things, making sure everything's going, and it'll just be about us maintaining the community space. Making sure that we do enough fundraising and volunteer time to be able to afford things like insurance and utilities and things like that. Water is something that we are definitely going to be paying very close attention to, and how we can mitigate that cost, because everything that the community center or the community association has for funding is all fundraised. I hope that answered your question.
Can I just echo on some of the comments on that? So we got the outdoor facility there. It can be used year round there. So also summer there. So if you've noticed, you've been down there, they got the big glass overhead door. So that's going to be, once we get more money to fix the outdoors, the land, the grass area and everything, the long range plan is to kind of rent that facility out for like a parties or birthday parties or any family functions. So that's one of the other goals that we want down the road to finish.
And on that, we actually do have a plan going in place to do the landscaping. It's kind of been a one challenge after another. The gopher situation has been a little bit out of control, but luckily, Mr. Storch has been working with us, trying to help us with the finding an exterminator to get that taken care of. Once that's taken care of, then we can do the landscaping and move all the dirt, and then we can look at concrete and things like that moving forward.
I got a question about the washrooms in the wintertime. Are those doors, like, is there some way to let you know if the door's not closed? I'm worried about that thing freezing up is what I was thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you know this more about? Everything is on an automated system.
Yeah, it's all on a computerized. Kyler's got the program at home, Kyler Shredda. So he can see exactly what's going on. Everything is recorded, what's happening at that facility. It's got an automatic opening and lock timer on it too, eh? So also there's a heat, I think. Also there's a backup heater in there for, like we got hot water heating in the floors, eh? And then the backup is the electrical heaters inside the washrooms.
Yeah, just in case some kid leaves his boot in the door.
Yeah,
right?
somebody leaves it open or anything there. There's an alarm system there too, eh?
No, that's good. I was
Yeah.
wondering about that. When I was out there, I was like, it is really nice setup. I mean, you guys got a really good setup there, but I was just worried about some kid leaving his boot in the door and freezing that thing up. And No, that's good. It looks like, you know, a well thought out, neat setup there. I'm sure you'll find all kinds of good ways to use that, for your community over there. Lucky to be you guys. Lots of involvement. Right on. Got anybody else? Anything else? If not, can I get someone to make a motion? Ba-choom, ba-choom. Counselor Kalafa?
I'll move the council accepts the presentation from the Midland Vale Community Hall Association as information, and furthermore direct administration to bring further information to a future meeting of council for consideration.
Well, thank you for that. Seconder, Counselor McNeil. All in favor? All in favor? Okay. Tom's up too, yep. All right, thank you very much. Thanks for that. Okay, so now, where are we going now? 6.1.1, our Nackmine West End Road closure. Mr. Zier again, you gonna lead that?
Okay, good afternoon, Council again. My name is Mike Zier. I am the Director of Recreation and Community Services here at the town. Today I'm presenting the second and third reading for the Nackmine West End Road Closure Bylaw. It's Bylaw 101.26. So just a little bit of a summary. The proposed Nackmine West End Closure 0126 underwent first reading in January 20th of this year. In accordance with the requirements of the MGA, the town of Drumheller held a public hearing on February 17th, 2026. There were no presentations either in support or in opposition to the bylaw. As the statutory advertising requirements had been met, council will now be able to proceed with second and third reading of this bylaw. So this bylaw was actually brought forward, this road closure was brought forward a couple times to council here. If you remember, the Nackmine berm was completed in the summer of 25. Excuse me. Unfortunately, the dimensions of the as-built berm were greater than anticipated and larger than the area of the road closed by bylaw 0224. So administration contracted the AT, which approved all road closures and tried to revise bylaw 0224. Unfortunately, this required a full repeal of that bylaw and reissuance of a new bylaw with new road closure as well. So you can see that the public hearing was actually held on the April 30th of this year as well. So now that it has been forwarded to transportation, signed off by the minister, council is now able to do second, third, final readings for this and officially close that road. So some financial implications on this. All the costs of this are covered under the flood mitigation project, and the road closure is a requirement of provincial funding agreement, as we can't build a berm on top of a provincial road allowance. Strategic policy alignment. This aligns with our Pillar 3, which promoting sustainable economic growth and development. Public participation strategy was followed with the public hearing for the bylaw, advertised in Drumheller Mail January 28th and February 4th of this year, as well as on the municipal website, and sending written notices to all applicants within a 200-meter radius. As well as the completed bylaw will be posted on the Town of Drumheller website. So the recommended motions to council here are that council gives second and third reading to Nackmine West End Road Closure Bylaw 0126 as presented.
Thank you for that. Any questions? This is that little sliver right along the edge of the berm that we were looking at there. It's just part of the road, correct, right at the corner? All right, so yeah, we've talked about this a few times here now, so can I get a motion? Councilor Miller?
I move that council gives second reading to Nackmine West End Road Closure Bylaw number 01.26 as presented.
Thank you for that. Can I get a seconder? Councilor I almost said Zaritsky. Hanson. Tom's usually over there. Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion carried. All right, I'm gonna give her third reading here as well. Counselor McNeil.
I move that council gives third and final reading to the Nakamine West End Road Closure Bylaw number 01.26 as presented.
Thank you for that. Can I get a seconder? Counselor Miller. All in favor? Okay, motion carried. All right now, so that puts that one to bed finally here. All right, now we'll go on to the 6.1.2, our planning and development manager staff position. Are you gonna handle that one too, Mike?
I am.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor and Council. So today I am presenting a request to establish a dedicated planning and development manager position for the town of Drumheller. So this recommendation is being brought forward as a response to our increased development activity and growing service demands, staffing pressure, and the need for better alignment between the planning and development and economic development functions within our organization. So just a little bit of context here. Over the last few years, the town has experienced a significant increase in development applications, property-related inquiries, enforcement issues, internal project referrals, and requests for planning and development support. At the same time, this development department is working with several staff who are relatively new in their capacities, fairly new in the roles, requiring ongoing mentorship, training, and operational guidance. So while this is a positive investment in our workforce, growing these staff within, it does require significant leadership oversight. In addition, we've had a number of recent absences, leaves of absence, which have compounded this problem. So just looking at the organizational impacts of this, the planning function is a service area that touches virtually every department within the organization. The planning and development staff coordinate development application circulations, providing technical reviews, supporting capital projects, assisting with land use matters, working closely with applicants, developers, businesses, and residents. So as this demand continues to increase, we see the current structure making it difficult to maintain both our desired response times. We want to make sure we get back to the requests as they come in a reasonable amount of time, and providing what I feel is the level of service that both council, the developers, the residents, and the applicants all expect. So in my time here with the town, I've noticed a lot of reactionary responses to some of the projects brought forward to us here, rather than not giving the time to really look at things strategically and that sort of thing. So I think this is where this position really fills a gap that we have in our current structure. Excuse me. So just looking at some of the other aspects of the planning and development departments currently, I think council already knows we have quite a few antiquated and outdated statutory documents that we're really trying to put forward. Many ASPs from the early 80s that are challenging for our developers right now to work with them. We only have so much developable land within the town here, and these old ASPs do need a rework before they fit a lot of the new developing concepts that were brought forward to us. So having the redevelopment plans, these planning documents no longer in alignment with our current development strategies is causing an issue for sure. So dedicated leadership within this planning department would allow the town to systematically review and update these documents. And it would provide us with, both us and the developers, with greater clarity as they come forward and know what their, what the expectations from the town are as well. So just looking at the planning and development function currently right now is actually overseen by the manager of economic development, which is in addition to that position's primary role. So this really allows services to continue, but not in any great, not enough detail or not enough time given to either function really in that point. And we see that as service areas with this growing workload, there's competing priorities between the two departments, really trying to focus on responding to a lot of our regulatory time limits given on these planning development files, while still trying to foster the growth within the town here through economic development initiatives. So with that, some of these projects that council has put forward have been delayed in the economic development portfolio, including the economic development strategy, looking at our business license bylaw redo, which are revisions, which we know are a higher priority with council here, as well as just looking at overall management, municipal land work framework. So yeah, as far as the current planning systems, we do have contracted planning services, Palliser, which does maintain a lot of our land use and subdivision redesignations. But again, there's not enough oversight, I feel, in that area to really understand the struggles that we're having with our applicants and our developers. So yeah, I see this creation of this planning development manager position, improving service delivery times, enhancing our current contracted planning services, and really just strengthening both the planning and development and economic development portfolios within the organization here. So in summary, the administration believes that creating this position will address current service pressures, providing leadership and capacity within the department, will improve our oversight of planning functions and really allow our economic development department to focus on what I feel is their core primary role of enticing and retaining a lot of our businesses within the town. So the recommendation for council today is that the council approve the addition of the new full-time equivalent position, planning and development manager for the recreation and community services department. And furthermore, that this 2026 unbudgeted expense up to a maximum of $61,000 be sourced from municipal reserves. I'm able to answer any questions council has.
Councillor Kalafa.
I'm going to move the council waive the requirement for in-person attendance of closed session meetings for the July 7th, 2026 regular council meeting of council in accordance with section 3.4 of the council procedure bylaw 34.25. Essentially, I'd like to go into camera to talk a little bit more about this. However, there's we aren't able to have people appear on remotely for an in-camera session, and we would need council, so this would waive that.
Councillor McNeil.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor then? All right, I guess we're gonna close our. What's that? I missed the shift there. Okay, Councillor Kalapa.
I'll move the council close the meeting to the public as per ATIA 29, advice from officials.
Thanks for that. Councillor McNeil, you're seconding it. All in favor on that one? Okay. We'll be closing our meeting here for a bit. Okay, and we are back, and it is 5:42. And we're still on topic here with Mr. Zier about our new position.
Point of order, Your Worship. We do need a motion to come out of closed session. Or did you do it already?
Yeah, we done that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
My apologies.
No. Okay. So any questions? Any questions for him? I got a question for you from this situation is how many people are doing that job now? Who is covering on that on our planning manager staff position there right now?
So through the chair, there is one manager of economic development that leads the department. There is one development officer and one safety codes officer and one summer student, correct, currently.
And those are all within that department there?
That's correct, yeah.
And our economic development manager, he's not supposed to be there, is he? He's covering it though.
He is, that's
okay.
correct.
All right, no, I just wanted to clarify who's on first over there. All right, anything else? Anybody got anything else to add in over there? Nothing else? Can I get a motion then? Councillor McNeil.
I move that council approves the addition of a new full-time equivalent position, planning and development manager for the Recreation and Community Services Department, and furthermore, that the 2026 unbudgeted expense to a maximum of $61,000 be sourced from municipal reserves.
All right, can I get a seconder on that? Councillor Miller, all in favor? All in favor, motion carried. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Brownstein.
Good evening, Your Worship, members of council. Jared Bronstein, Director of Infrastructure Services, and tonight we are going to quickly go over the energy management policy that was introduced to the committee of the whole on June 9th, and this is now coming back to council for full adoption. The policy is to go over our energy management and what we do in regards to facility retrofits, capital improvements, etc. The policy has not been amended from what was presented back in the committee of the whole. We did, however, put in or have a point of discussion within the request for decision in regards to water use and water conservation, and then we will bring that back in the next couple of years to have a further discussion on that particular avenue. If there are any comments, questions of council prior to talking resolution, please let me know.
Any questions? Councillor McNeil.
Yes, thank you for this, and thank you for remembering about the water management, water conservation. So I appreciate that very much. Something that I read about and I found quite interesting as I was going through the policy is the clean energy improvement policy. And I see that that's something that's set up and managed by the Alberta municipalities. And I noticed that there are 29 municipalities in the province that have a bylaw for this. And I thought it would be something worth exploring and seeing if there was a potential to do this in Drumheller. It could support our residents and or our businesses, commercial enterprises. And yeah, I guess for my council colleagues, I do suggest that you review the information on that clean energy improvement policy. It's on the Alberta Municipalities page, and I do see potential there. It essentially is a financing framework that would permit then residences, like it could be financed through taxes in that vein. So it's something worthwhile looking at, and especially when all of us are concerned about increased energy costs.
Oh, there you go. Clean energy improvement policy, and that's on the Alberta Munis? Is that what you're saying? And that's what is that? That's a replace with, fluorescence with LEDs? Is that what that program would be something like, similar to?
I honestly can't answer that, but from what I can see, it certainly extensive improvement projects could be undertaken in different buildings, whether it's residential or commercial, and then they would qualify for the financing. Administration probably could answer better than me.
Are you familiar with that?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Caleb Neufeld, Manager of Capital Assets. I'll speak to the question about the Clean Energy Improvement Program. I'm a little bit familiar with the program. I think there is an implication to the municipality because within the program, residents can apply for funding. So the municipality would then have to be able to provide financing for these energy improvement programs. So there is a financial implication to the municipality. I don't know exactly what that entails, but just something to keep in mind. But it is a program that residents can apply for to do energy improvement projects on their homes. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question.
All right, thanks for that, Caleb. Councillor Kalafa.
I just want to say I appreciate the work that's gone into this, and I think we're at the right point, how we've done this, where we'll have a policy, and now that you've transitioned into another role, that this will help us guide further decisions. Thank you.
So thank you, Worship. There is a recommendation before council tonight that council adopts the energy policy P0626C as presented. There are alternate directions if council so chooses. That council adopts the energy policy with the following amendments. That council accepts the report on the energy management policy as information and directs administration to bring back additional information to a future meeting of council for consideration, or that council accepts the report on the energy management policy as information. So there are alternative directions available to council. However, the recommendation is that you adopt the policy as presented.
Do I got anybody ready to make a motion? Councillor Kalafa.
I'll move the council adopts the energy management policy number P0626C as presented.
There you go. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Hanson, all in favor? All right, motion carried. Thank you for that. All right. Now we got our residential recycling program.
Thank you, Your Worship. This evening, presenting a report on the residential recycling program, and this is a level of service request of council. So beginning October 1st, 2026, circular materials will be providing curbside collection to the Drumheller Valley. With that, the transition to curbside collection, there is the opportunity to either continue with depot services or discontinue depot services within the community. The depot services right now are mainly cardboard recycling, with the exception of the one in Drumheller proper, which provides a little bit of mixed use recycling. The curbside collection program will go full stream, so everything will be able to go into your curbside collection container, negating the need for residential users to go to any depot locations. So there is a discussion, a point is whether or not council wants to provide depot locations within the community to facilitate an additional source in which people can recycle cardboard or mixed recycling. The landfill will still be providing recycling services as part of circular materials. So there is that central depot within the valley. However, if there's additional service level council would like to request, we're open for discussion in regards to that. It is the recommendation of administration that we do not proceed with depot locations. The curbside collection program will divert probably 99.9% of that recycling material back to circular materials. So if there's any questions of council in regard to this report, open to discussion.
Anybody got any questions? Councillor Miller?
Hey, thank you through the chair. So I don't think it makes much sense to double up on services that are provided with regards to this RFD. A question that I did have though is some residents of the Pink Palace, and I realize I'm being very colloquial. It's the big pink building across the street from the Knox United Church.
Oh, I think I know what that is. Sure.
Thank you. Keystone, that's what it is. Thank you, Councillor Kalafa. Yeah, for you now you're newer, but now you know. A couple of the residents there, it's a residential building for retirees. I believe they have to be 55 or 60 in order to live there. And some of them have brought to me the concern that they are zoned as a commercial building for their garbage pickup, so they're paying quite a lot more for their garbage services than they for their waste removal services than they would be if they were considered residential. And just wondering if there's anything that we could do for these residents in this case.
So through the chair to Councillor Miller, I unable to answer that question for you at this time. I know Circular Materials is reaching out to multifamily residential. So whether or not they define that as multifamily residential, I cannot confirm. If they do, they have reached out to them and asked to be included within recycling, the recycling program. As for garbage collection, I'd have to look at the definitions within our bylaw to answer that question in greater detail.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to mention it at some point, and this seemed like the most obvious point too.
Councillor Zritsky?
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, just a couple questions. Firstly, I considering the amount of cardboard that is recycled, like on numerous occasions, I mean, those cardboard recycling containers at the depot are just packed full. I mean, they are absolutely so packed full, you can't get a cigarette package in them. So there seems to be, just cardboard seems to be the number one recycled material, and it seems to be an awful lot of it. So I guess my first comment would be, so if the individual residents have a container to put in recyclables, will there be enough room in that container for cardboard as well as all of the other plastics and tin cans and bottles and all of that other stuff? That would be my first concern. And then my second concern is every time I've kind of mentioned this to people in the community that we are going to have this recycling program, man, I just get a barrage of questions. Well, what about this and what about this and how's this going to work and what and on and on and on and on. So I guess, maybe a little bit off topic for this, but are we going to do a fairly extensive communication information program for residents to kind of explain all of this? Because as I say, as soon as I mention it, man, it's just question after question after question after question. And I think the community will really need to, become aware of what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And there will be people going to the recycling depot and the things won't be there and they won't know why, guaranteed. So anyways, just a couple of comments.
Good points. That we had talked about that education of the residents here too. The one thing about this is that circular whatever they are, what are they called? Circular materials are this is all a provincial initiative, correct? This is initiated by the province, and they're going to be recycling all our normal stuff. Now, whether it all fits in that bin or not in a 2 week carry out place, I don't know. One thing that I was looking at though, I see that our landfill also has household hazardous waste, electronics, small appliances, and other related materials. Are those going to continue to be recycled by our town or by the drum? What is it? DDS WMA? They will be okay. All right, because that was one of the concerns. Are we going to lose that stuff with gaining this? Um, are we gonna get our like $7 back? Recycling. But yeah, no, it sounds like a good deal. I mean, it does sound like a good deal. I do question getting rid of the cardboard like Tom was talking about there. I do question about getting rid of that right away. I wonder if we should drag our feet with the cardboard. That'd be one thing.
So sorry, Councillor Clough. So there is a recommendation before council tonight, and one of the key aspects of that recommendation is an effective date. So what date does council want to see those bins removed from circulation within the community? So is it a month after curbside comes in, 2 months after curbside comes in, 3 months after curbside comes in? So that is part of that recommendation tonight. The council reinforces its support for the incoming provincial curbside collection recycling program and directs administration to close the 6 residential recycling depots effective blank. So this is at council's discretion on when you'd like to see those recycling depots closed. That will then be conveyed to the landfill as well as the constituents within Drumheller.
Councillor Kalafa.
Just addressing your worship's concern about cardboard. Circular material will still be supporting the depot at the Drumheller District landfill. So if you fill your bin and you bought a fridge and you got a giant box, you can still just take it to the landfill for free as opposed to just downtown. So there'll still be that backup for, well, essentially all the materials, not just cardboard. So.
Councillor McNeil.
Thank you. I was just wondering too, because I think it would be helpful to understand when circular materials has come into other communities, what has been the adoption of recycling in other communities, just to help us gauge that. And then as well, I think on the communication side, and I think it's an excellent idea to certainly help our residents understanding what's happening next. Will we be able to work with circular materials on essentially all of that educational outreach?
Through the mayor through the chair to Councillor McNeil. So circular materials has started their engagement process with the municipalities that are being impacted by this collection process. As part of that engagement, they are going to be providing communication packages, which will then be distributed through the town. I would just like to remind council that this is a public or a provincial initiative, not a municipal initiative. So we're trying really hard to get them to step up their game in regards to communications, trying to engage the community outside of the municipality as well. What is inevitably going to happen is everybody's going to think that the town of Drumheller is rolling out curbside recycling when we are not. So we're going to try to send that message out very clear that this is a provincial initiative and a provincial body doing these works. What was the second question you had, Councillor Neal?
Thank you. The first question I had was just about the adoption of recycling and the success of that in other communities.
As far as I'm aware, and I don't know if that's changed, Circular Materials hasn't rolled this out into very many communities yet. The October 1st is going to be most of Alberta. So there are going to be some massive hurdles and some massive challenges to this. Getting back to your question in regards to recycling diversion, it's hit and miss per community. Depends on the community and their interest in recycling. Some communities are very gung ho about it and they make sure that they are following the rules to a T. There's other communities that throw anything and everything into the recycling bin thinking that's recyclable. And then the education process starts all over again. So it all depends on the uptick from the community and how successful the programs are.
Thanks.
Councillor Kalapa.
And just note, Alberta is the last province to introduce EPR, so you hope that there's a template that can be followed that, hopefully other people's experiences have wrinkled out or ironed out a lot of those wrinkles. So I'm pretty confident that it should go fairly smooth, but you never know.
Councillor Miller.
Yeah, just with regards to Councillor Zarisky and our mayor's comments about the recycling, the cardboard recycling bins often being so full. My thought is actually that we shouldn't drag our feet on removing those as well because we don't know if that's only being used by residents or if it's also being used by commercial users. And if we keep them there, if commercial users are using them, which they're not supposed to, they may just continue to, and then it might seem to the rest of us like they're still needed because the residents are using them, but they're actually not. So my thought is let's get rid of all of it at the same time and then see how the need looks a little ways down the road after that.
Anybody else? I don't know, in East Cooley, we got our bins pretty full all the time and there's not a lot of commercial out there. But hey, we're great recyclers. I know there's a lot of people that are, astonished that we haven't had a bigger recycling push before this. So I know there's a lot of people that are probably anxious to take part in this. So it's a step forward, and I look forward to it. The one thing though is the communication of the parameters of what's recyclable and what's not, and how it's going to roll out. That's October 1st is a start date, so you know we should it should give people plenty of time, and it should give circular materials there. Keep thinking of something else there, but anyways, circular materials should have enough time to make their roll out and all the needs of our thing. It should make it pretty clear. So all right, and it is in Alberta. It is a government. It is a provincial led initiative here. This is not Town of Drumheller rolling this out. So I get your point about the not having them out there, but I also worry about if we don't have them out there, they're just gonna throw them where they used to be, where the bins used to be.
Well, we can always bring them back too, right?
Well,
They're not gone forever.
Well, Counselor.
Would a month suffice if we did it to, say, November 1st in the motion? If that's the case, I'll make the motion that Council reinforces its support of the incoming provincial curbside residential recycling program and directs administration to close the 6 residential recycling depots sites effective November 1st, 2026.
There we go. Seconder, Counselor Miller, all in favor? All in favor. Motion carried. Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for the initiative and the education here.
Just one further comment on that, Your Worship. Can we make sure to have signs on the recycling depot that this depot closes November 1st? Use your recycling bins.
Or drop at the landfill.
Yeah.
Is that in there? Yeah. Okay. All right. No, we'll cover our bases before we get there. It's not like we don't have enough time. All right. Thank you. Thanks for that. All right, so now we got 6.2.3 planter placements in the community. All right.
Thank you, Your Worship. Tonight is an RFD in regards to planter replacements in the community, and this is an update report for council. So this is basically an overview of what we've done to date. In the previous years, we have placed planters in the middle, in the medians, the center medians of Highway 9 and Highway 10 and Highway, I guess that'd be 575. This year we did switch it up. And the reason for switching it up was to alleviate staff concerns in regards to watering these planters on a daily basis in full traffic movement. So this year those planters have been moved to the shoulder medians. I'd like to reiterate that we haven't reduced the number of planters, we've just relocated the planters. So there is still the same amount of planters out there. We've just moved them into an area that allows us to service them more effectively and more efficiently, as well as more safely. With having them in the center median, we need full traffic control set up. The staffing requirements for that are quite extensive. There is fear from staff of being rear-ended. There is fear from staff being yelled at, cursed at, yelled at, cursed at, and yelled at, and cursed at. So we're trying to move away from that thing. There are opportunities to change. There's opportunities to improve as we move forward, of course. One of the things that we'd like to bring forward in 2020 for the 2027 capital program is actually a beautification plan. Currently, there is nothing on the books in regards to beautification and what beautification looks like in the eyes of council or in the eyes of the community. Currently, it's just been an ad hoc. We go and put in a few trees in the median, or we go buy a few more planters, or we put up some banners, or we do this. There is no definitive plan on what beautification actually looks like and what it means. Some of the other issues we're having with some of the planter locations within the center median is they were constructed in a way that is limiting root growth. So in order to facilitate tree growth, you need roots to be able to expand. Those medians, like every other soil condition within the Drumheller Valley, is compacted clay, and bentonite. So we're not allowing that water, that root filtration, everything else to happen. So we're actually killing these trees off before we can put them in the ground. So if center median beautification is something we actually want to move forward with, that means actually ripping the median out curb to curb and actually putting in silvicell or structural soil cells, and allowing those roots to have time to grow and to not be saturated. So that is what we're proposing to council right now, is just to leave the planters as they are. However, there are alternative directions within the report for council to provide any means of direction. If you want to see all of them go back to the way it was back in 2024 or 2025, or if you want to continue and allow them the way they are, and look for other options in 2027, we are open to discussion tonight.
Any comments, any questions? Councillor McNeil.
Thank you very much for the report and the information. I do want to commend previous councils and administration for all of their work on the beautification, because certainly, yes, it really was, a great look with the planter boxes in the center and the flower planters in the center. But I definitely understand the safety concerns, and I don't want that to continue. I think safety of our employees is paramount. And so I think the actions that you've taken with moving the planter boxes alongside the road in the boulevard areas makes a lot of sense. I think that beautification certainly, though, is so important to the Drumheller Valley because of tourism. And so just taking a look at the center medians, recently I was out driving around today, and certainly there are some areas that are rather unsightly right now. And I'm just concerned with if there's some type of remedial action that could be taken, because there are places where there's just a tree stump there. The tree died quite some time ago. and it just looks rather unsightly. There's not a whole lot growing in that area other than weeds. And I just think it would be great if council, or sorry, administration can take a look at some options that would be relatively inexpensive for the remainder of 2026.
So through the chair to Councilor Emile, so unfortunately, and you guys have heard this numerously, the weather has not been really conducive to us doing our jobs. We've been battling weeds for the last month and a half with the rains. We are going to be looking to engage some spraying companies to go out and start dealing with some of our weeds to try to control them. We've been waiting for the rain to stop. Unfortunately, we need time before and after to be effective with weed removal. So we are going to be doing that here shortly. So you'll see a drastic improvement in some of these areas in regards to weeds.
Okay, thank you. I understand that. But then I'm also looking at, you know, amending that soil in that area and, you know, actually fixing some of the frameworks because some of them are broken and then just planting something that is drought resistant and that would actually survive and not a tree.
Councillor Zawinski's hanging on here.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, just a couple comments. Firstly, I am currently in Fort McMurray, and one of the boulevards that we take to get to the golf course is a 60 kilometer boulevard with a median that has planters. And the planters are very similar to our planters. Um, they look really good. They're on the middle median. So I'm not sure how they maintain those, how they create a safe situation for their employees to water them. I don't know. I'm just saying it seems like there are other places that manage to have, decorative planters in the medians. And they're obviously doing it safely somehow. Um, so I guess my second comment would be, I honestly don't care if there are planters in the median. Personally, um, I just want to make sure that, as Councillor McNeil said, that it looks good, that whatever we do there, looks good. I mean, I have literally had people who hadn't been in Drumheller for like 20, 25 years come into town and literally say, boy, this town looks a lot better than it used to. And I certainly that's a lot of hard work and effort and money spent to create that. And I certainly wonder, so if we decide not to have planters in the median, that's fine. I'm okay with that. For safety reasons, number one. I mean, number one is safe. I don't know how they do it here in Fort McMurray, as I say, but if it's deemed to be unsafe in Drumheller, then that always trumps everything. But I'm just wondering, can we do something, to make it still look good somehow? And I'm not quite sure what that might be. But I'm just, like you drive along Walmart, the highway there, Highway 10, and you look to the right with all the tree plantings and the landscaping along the pathway there. Boy, that looks good. I mean, that looks just absolutely fabulous. And then you look at the median, and the median looks like crap, as Councillor McNeil said. It doesn't look good at all. So whether we put planters there or something else, I just want something there that looks good.
So you sounds like you're working your way into your own inquiry up there. You'll have to find some counselors up there and find out how they do it. Councillor Kalafa, you got a question?
Well, I think I'm going to echo some of the same sentiments here that, yes, I want something to be done with the medians. I think that, that adds to the community. Safety is paramount. Though, so if we can look at something else, I'm very happy that we are looking at putting this into a beautification plan or policy. I think we've all said wrong reason to keep doing something is because that's how we have always done it. But if we can have something formalized, and I hate the word beautification. I wish we could think of something better, because to me, it's more than that. It's not just dressing up the corridors for the tourists. This is about community pride. This is about looking at the entire area and saying, this town matters. Let's take care of it. And so I think that we have to keep that in mind when we are looking at making things better.
Councillor Hanson.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that kind of gets in my craw is the fact that we put a lot of emphasis on tourism, and I mean, I understand it makes our town grow, our function, right? It helps support us financially, but I think one of the things that annoys me from the past is the fact that, you know, it was said that we're beautifying the town and everything for the people of Drumheller. Well, you know, it's very unfortunate when you go out to Midland and you go down to Newcastle Beach and look at those parks, and there has been absolute minimal maintenance done on those. The grass has been cut regularly, no doubt about that. But all the planters and stuff like that, there are dead trees in them and overgrown with weeds. And I think, you know, we need to do something for the taxpayers of the town, improve where they live. And on the same time, like you said, the trees have been planted along the highways and that it's looking better. So in the future, we definitely need to look at all our parks all over East Cooley, Rosedale, Knackmine, and give something to the people that are paying for it. That's my feeling on it anyways.
I think those are the people that have been calling and writing and saying, we want the flowers back in. But anyway, anybody else? Councillor Miller?
Thank you, through the chair. Yeah, I agree with Councillor Kalafa. I'm very glad to hear that there's plans in the end of the year to look at a beautification plan long term. That'll just give us a clear path forward. And I will try to think of another word other than beautification. With a focus on sustainability as well, as Councillor McNeil said. And I just also believe that having a healthy workplace environment is very important. And that includes physical safety and physical healthy, but it also includes listening to the people who are out there doing the job and respecting them for their expertise while we're here in council chambers. If they're saying that they feel like they're in danger doing the job, that is something that we need to take seriously. So thank you that that has been listened to this year.
All right. Someone gonna make a motion? Anybody else? No? Councillor Miller? Yeah?
I move that council accepts the planter placements in the community update report as information.
No? Seconder? Councillor McNeil? All in favor? All in favor, motion carried. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, members of council.
Okay, now where are we at? Let's get closed session. Now we're coming to our closed session. We're 7.7, just 7. We're coming into a closed session, and so we'll be looking at going in closed session at what? Oh, somebody's got to make a motion first. Okay, Councillor Kalafa.
I'll move the council closes the public meeting at 6:22 p.m. to discuss ratification of QP Local 4604 collective agreement, personnel, CAO update, an Alberta Safety Code permit and status report as per ATIA 19, disclosure harmful to business interests of a third party, ATIA 20, disclosure harmful to personal privacy, ATIA 28, local body confidences, and ATIA 29, advice from officials.
Okay, so we had a seconder, Counselor Miller. That was her. All right, all in favor? All in favor. Thank you. And the time is, that's what I was looking at earlier. 22, so it is, yeah, 6:22, July 7th. Thank you for coming to the concert.